Hi, hello, and welcome to episode 42 of the Whips and Whimsy podcast. My name is Zenith, my pronouns are they, them. I am so happy you are joining me here today on this first day of spring, March 21st, 2026. It is a lovely and wonderful day outside. Apparently we're getting snow next Monday, so that's going to be fun. But today, I'm just living it up, enjoying it all. This is my YouTube channel where we talk about all things I have been knitting lately, anything else craft-wise I've been up to lately, and of course what I've been reading. Spoiler, there's going to be a lot of reading at the end. I went and did my first book haul of the year, so I have lots of things to show towards the end. This is my 1 year anniversary of being a YouTube channel. Crazy and wonderful. It's been such a wonderful year, and I just want to give a quick thank you to everyone who's been with me, no matter if you've been following me for months and months or since the beginning even, or if you're a newer subscriber, welcome. I'm so happy that you are here. I'm happy that I can share my crafting goodness with you and that we can just come together and talk about crafts. That's great. That's wonderful. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive on in. I'm going to look down to look at my notes. I have today 2 finished objects. I have 3 works in progress. I have 2 acquisitions. They are both related to spinning, actually. And then I have the books I've finished that I'm currently reading, and my book haul. I have acquired 17 new books this week, which is basically replacing all the books that I've read so far this year, which is fine. I'm happy with how many books are in my room. So yeah, let's dive on in. I'm going to try to keep this a little bit condensed. I'm not sure if that will actually happen. There's a lot to cover, but I'm going to try. Also, first of all, we are staying hydrated today with water with lemon flavoring. So yes, grab a drink, grab a snack, grab a craft. Let's dive on in. The first finished object I have today is my Murmuration socks. This is a pattern by Summer Lee out of the Sock Project. I used Melissa's sock yarn in the color Harvest Moon as my main color. The contrast color is Blue Barn Fiber. I don't remember the colorway, but I am obsessed with it. I'm going to be making a full pair of socks out of this color sometime soon. But yeah, I checked Knit Picks yesterday. I was on there, and they don't have Melissa's sock yarn being sold anymore, so I don't know what happened to it. I don't know where it is. There's other places you can find it. But I'm a little bit bummed because I was going to buy more Zesty Lime, and apparently I'm not going to buy more Zesty Lime, so it's fine. Anyway, I knit the smallest size of these, the 54 stitch one, but I did use a size 1.5 needle instead of a size 1. So yeah, I love these. I think they're great. I did not carry the pattern down the foot, but that's neither here nor there. Actually, I didn't do that because I didn't want to try to keep count of what row I was on for the gusset with what row I was on for the pattern. And I realized as I was recording that I could have used my row counter app and just set up 2 different counters and linked them with the global one. And that would have done it for me. Alas. Anyway, these are cute and I love them. And the next pair that I finished, it's another pair of socks, spoiler. These are for my friend Ryan. And these are Felici in the color Tadpole. The contrast color is another mystery from my stash. I'm obsessed with it, and I'm kind of sad that I don't remember the name. They're so good. And yeah, I love these. These are my standard pattern. So that means 10 rounds for the cuff. I did twisted rib for these. And then 30 rounds for the leg, a slip stitch heel, however many rounds I need for the foot. This one is 85, and then a square toe. So yeah, I have like hardly any left of the 50-gram ball. I only used one 50-gram ball for these. And I had to cut some sections out to make everything match. So what I have left is like 3 individual stripes of the electric blue and then like 1 stripe of yellow. That's all that's left of that one. Speaking of Felici, let's get into works in progress now. So the first one is in my mermaid bag. This is my current sock whip. I just cast these on yesterday. And this is an older colorway. This is the Bebop colorway. I'm using Stroll in the color black for the cuff. Once again, I did twisted rib, or half twisted rib rather. And then this is also Stroll, but I don't know the color. It came in a mini skein, so therefore I'm like, I don't know, it's blue. I'm loving these. I just started these yesterday. We watched all of the things yesterday because my roommate's boyfriend is in town. So it was like most of this was knitting YouTubers, catching up on them. And then we watched Shrinking. And then we watched Best in Show. And then we watched Ron White's most recent comedy special, which is still like 2018. But, you know. Yeah, so that's why I got so much knitting done yesterday. I'm going to take a quick hydration break. I did decide last week when I paused for a week last week, just because I had a lot going on. I threw a pie day party, and I had everybody come over and bring pie. That's neither here nor there. But I also decided last week that I do enjoy casting on a pair of socks every week, but I do not love alternating socks or having 2 pairs of socks at once. That's not working out for me right now. So I decided instead what I'm going to do is not have that extra pair. So I did skip a week last week and not cast anything on. So when this pair of socks gets done, I will work on other knitting until Friday, and then I will cast on my next pair. That's my new plan. If it drives me crazy, I will go back to the old way, but it's working for me at the moment. So yeah, that's these socks. Excuse me. The next thing I want to show, oh my god, you guys haven't seen this since it was like literally 4 rows. This is my current baby blanket in progress. I have a hair in my mouth. So last time you saw it, we were down here and there was like nothing to show, and I was like, this is gonna look really cool. Trust me. I hope you are trusting me. I'm obsessed with this. This is the stitch pattern for the pattern for something called the Labyrinth, and I found it online and I'm obsessed with it. This little pumpkin pie charm shows where the first ball ended. I only have 5, so that is obviously not going to be enough for an entire baby blanket. So I did, I bought yarn for the first time this year yesterday. I bought 3 more balls of this. I don't think I'm going to need all 3. I think I'm going to need 2, but I would rather have an extra one than find out I was incorrect. And this is Knit Picks Brava in the color Seraphim, Brava Worsted. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I have been listening to a podcast while I work on it. There is a monthly craft night that I go to. The woman who runs it, every single month, something comes up about like the Renaissance or medieval history or whatever. And every single time she's like, Zenith, you have to listen to Gone Medieval. And every time I'm like, I'm not a podcast kind of person. I'm a YouTube video kind of person. And finally, after 6 months of campaigning, I was finally like, okay, I'm going to listen to 1 episode of Gone Medieval. And it turns out I love it. So what I've been doing is I just play a podcast episode and I work on this while it plays. And when it's done, I'm done. And that's working out really, really, really well for me. So I love this stitch pattern. I love this yarn. I love this blanket. I love Gone Medieval. I'm so phlegmy right now. Anyway, the next thing I want to show you, oh my god, I'm actually so excited for it, is my whatever sweater. I've added 2.5 colors to it. So the last time you saw it, we were here. And now we're all the way down here. This is by Julie Knits in Paris, is the pattern. It's just a basic raglan with scrap yarn held double. And I love it. I cast this on New Year's Eve along with a friend of mine who is also knitting one. And she is almost done. She is working on the sleeves. And I love that for her. Hers is amazing. We actually went out to brunch this morning and she showed me. She pulled it out of her bag and everything. It looks so good. Hers is so cool. But I am so far behind, and I would love to have this done soon. I know I said in the last episode that I actually wasn't going to work on this. I said in the last episode that if I only work on this, I'll never get to any of their projects, and I chose beanies, which is an ongoing project for me, which means that when I finish a beanie, I'll just cast on another one. And I thought about it as the last video was uploading and realized that that actually doesn't make any sense, because it doesn't matter how many beanies I make, I will always need to be making more beanies. So I decided instead that because whatever sweater is a one-off, I will just work on it until it is complete, and then I will spin my spinner, and I will choose a different project to work on until it is complete, and go on from there, especially because I am still working on beanies. My beanie has become like my go-to like stockinette knitting for like if I'm in class, for example, and I just like want my hands to be busy, or if I'm I've been getting weekly allergy shots. So, like if I'm in a bad place to like bring a sock with me, like if I'm in the middle of a heel, I'll just grab a beanie instead. It's not a big deal. So yeah, those are getting worked on. And yeah, that's my whatever sweater. And that brings us out of works in progress and into acquisitions. So the first one I've actually had sitting around for a couple weeks because for whatever reason, I forgot that this was something I should show on my YouTube channel, which is very silly because of course, this is a gift my friend sent me because I was talking about how I wanted to get back into spinning on Instagram back in January. And one of my Instagram friends sent me a page for Spindle Bingo, which is like a whole thing, and it's really, really cool. And I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. And one of the bingo squares was to like give somebody else wool. And so she was like, can I send you some wool from my stash for you to spin up? And I was like, yes. So she sent me a whole bunch of wool. And I love the colors. I think they're so freaking pretty. And it's 3 row logs. And then some unprocessed wool, which I'm not entirely sure what to do with, but I will figure it out. Or I won't, but probably I will eventually. So yeah, I don't know exactly what to do with that, but I am really excited. She also left the card for who this came from. So this is from Mother Pearl. So I'm very excited. I think it's like an ounce or 2. It's not very much, but that's fine. I'm very tempted to wind off what's on my spindle and spin this real fast, and I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. At some point, I'm gonna get back into my actual spinning though. The other thing I received was actually a belated birthday present, and I got this today. It's in a box. This is a blending board. So it has rods to wind your wool onto. It has a very tiny brush to like comb your wool and blend it, and then the board itself looks like this. So it has these little spiky things, and then yeah, so you like take whatever wool you want and you just, you know, hook it on there and then brush it and then wind it off. So yeah, I'm excited. I've never used one before, so hopefully I don't mess it up too badly. But I don't know. I think it's kind of fun. I'm pretty excited about it. So, yay. And that's my acquisitions. What else do I have? That brings us into books. I'm going to go ahead and flip the screen. If you are only here for knitting, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I enjoy your presence. Let's go into reading, which is probably going to be the meat of this video because we're only at 15 minutes right now. So not quite 15 minutes. So first of all, in my last episode, I was talking about how I was planning to start reading the Tenseret series by Neon Yang. Remember that name for later in this video. And I read the whole omnibus. So I read all 4 of those novellas. They were great. And then for my next book, I chose The Starless Crown by James Rollins, which has a story attached to it, a rather wild one. My friends keep telling me this is like the most main character thing that could possibly happen. I'm like, I thought main character was an insult. So I don't know. I don't know what that means. 5 years ago, I worked in bookselling in Florida, and I decided I was going to work with a different bookstore in Massachusetts. And so I started moving across country. I had made a name for myself in bookselling. And this included building some really strong relationships with the marketing department at Tor Publishing House. So They sent me, okay, I'm going to pretend you don't know anything about publishing. So when books are published, before they're published, it is important for people who sell books and such to be familiar with books so that like the day that they're released, the people on the floor of the bookstores can talk about them or whatever. So they send out what's called advanced readers copies of books. This is what this is. This is an advanced reader's copy of a book. It says on here, not for sale, January 2022. It's on there. Uncorrected advanced reader's script. Not for sale, right? You don't sell ARCs. The other thing they do sometimes is they send out what's called unbound manuscript, and they send those out to people who they think can influence people who would receive advanced readers copies get unbound manuscripts. Usually this can be other authors, this can be influencers, or this can be booksellers who are friends with a lot of other booksellers. Me. So I received an unbound manuscript of this book 5 years ago, and I started reading it because I knew it was going to be a big deal. It was public knowledge at the time. You can look this up. This trilogy by James Rollins was a $1 million book deal for him to switch to tour and write fantasy novels because he's normally like a mystery author. Anyway, so I got an unbound manuscript and I started reading it, and I was in the middle of moving. There was a lot happening, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to finish it. So I read like the first 200 pages, and I sent a blurb in to the publisher thinking that they weren't going to do anything with it for some reason. And I was basically like, I really enjoyed this book. I'm not going to be able to finish it. Here's my thoughts on it. And sent like a paragraph thought, and then mailed it to them, like emailed it. Didn't think another thought about it again. Moved to Massachusetts. Received the advanced reader's copy that I still own. And again, was like, I'm busy. The book's already published, whatever. Threw it onto my bookcase. Never looked at it. Left book selling. Left another career. I'm back in school. I decided to read through the books that have been collecting dust on my shelves for 4 to 5 years mostly. Took it off, brushed it off, started reading it. Realized I didn't know what the book was actually about. Started reading the back, and under a name that I no longer go by for a bookstore I no longer work at, it's me. I'm on the book. I'm on the book. So yeah. So 5 years ago I wrote Bats, Sentient Statues, and the Sky Falling. Oh my. This reads like Jen Lyon's Writing the Broken Earth trilogy. It's the book that's going to pull me out of my book slump. I wake up every morning eager to read more. The pages turn themselves. I stand by this. I'm still not done with the book. I am this far into it, which is farther than I read last time. And on the one hand, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I sent in a blurb without finishing the book. Like that was a choice I made in life. 2, I can't believe I never knew I was quoted. Like nobody ever told me I was on it. 3rd, I'm incredibly relieved that I am not on any of the published books. I am not on the dust cover for the hardcover. They had a whole bunch of like really big authors quoted on that, so it makes sense that it wouldn't be me. And I'm definitely not on the paperback because that also just doesn't make sense. You don't really put quotes on paperbacks usually. But yeah, I am on the advanced reader's copy. So that's my claim to fame. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. And yeah, I will maybe have it done next week. I'm reading it kind of slow. I'm reading it like 50 pages at a time instead of 100. But I am on page 300 out of like 550. So I should have that finished by the end of next week. And I'm enjoying it so much. There's so much going on. The sky is falling. There's a girl who can control bats. It's good stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm currently reading. And now let's get into our book haul. I have 2 stacks of books here. I am a little bit in trouble space-wise, but it's okay. I'm going to show the ones I actually thrifted first, with the exception of one. There's one I'm going to talk about first because it makes sense. I got this from the used book superstore, which is going to be the second haul that I show because it's the better one. This is the sequel to The Starless Crown. This is This is The Cradle of Ice by James Rollins. I'm so happy that they had a copy. I got this for about $13. I'm very excited about it. This is not even going to get put away because the moment I finish The Starless Crown, I'm going to start this one. I did look for the third book in the trilogy. They did not have it. I will probably just buy it on Kindle and finish out the series and then go back to reading the books on my shelves. So, all of that said, I can drink a little bit more water. I went to Savers this week and I picked up 7 books. I don't know exactly how much they cost me. I'll tell you how much the ticket price was on the back of all the books because I haven't tried taking any of the stickers off yet. The first one I picked up was Dragonflight by Anne McCaffrey. This was $2.49. I got this because one of my friends from D&D said that this was her grandfather's favorite book series and that therefore she also really, really loved them. And I was like, look what's there. I'm going to get this. So I'm very excited. This is actually a really good copy. It looks like it hasn't been read. So I'm rather excited about that. The next book I picked up is I think a thriller. We Were Never Here by Andrea Bartz. Yeah, I got this one for $3.49 and the sticker is over the blurb, so I can't read it to you. I got 2 Colleen Hoover books. They were both $3.49. It starts with us and it ends with us. I've never read Colleen Hoover before, but I know like she's super popular and these books were just at the right price. So I was like, I'll figure it out. For $7, I'll figure it out. The next book I got was She Gets the Girl by Rachel Lippincott and Allison Derrick. This was $3.99. This is a lesbian romance, and I think it's YA. Don't quote me, but I am excited to read it. So, yeah. And the last one I got was Ramon and Julieta by Alana Quintana Albertson, which I feel like I've heard good things about. Obviously, it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling. This was $4.49. So, I'm excited to read all of those. I just want to say, I went through like everything, every single bookshelf in Savers, trying to find contemporary romance and sci-fi fantasy that I wanted to read, whatever. And I was not having very good luck. Like I was like really struggling. Like those were like the only 2 contemporary romances that they had were those 2. I was on the struggle bus. They had some good fantasy books, but all the good fantasy books that they had were ones that I already owned. Where like if I didn't own them, I would have gotten them, but I already have them, so. Hey friends, it's Editing Zenith. I just wanted to pop in and say the reason I don't know the specific prices for any of those books was because I also had a 20% off discount for everything that I got at Savers that day. I also picked up some other things, so I have like a grand total price of $42, but that included a pair of pants for my roommate. It included like a basket. It included 7 CDs. Like there was other stuff that I got along with the books, so I don't know. Also they did a sale where if you buy 4 books, the 5th one is free. So between all of those things, like I have no idea how much I paid for just the books, but yeah, I got good deals on those books. Yeah. Anyway, back to the regular video. Anyway, now we're moving on to our used book superstore haul. This place, I had never gone to this place before, and I was not prepared. This is a bookstore in Burlington, Massachusetts, and it has over 100,000 books. And I brought books in to trade, and then I also got 15% off of my full purchase for bringing in books to trade. And then also I got like mostly used books and remainders. So I do have 3 new books in this stack. But anyway, along with Cradle of Ice, I ended up getting 10 books for the sweet, sweet cost of $16. So the first thing I got was the last 2 books in this series. So I got Gods and Monsters, and I got Blood and Honey by Shelby Mehurin, because I read Serpent and Dove, and I never followed up with the series, but I want to know what happened. So now I have the rest of the Serpent Dove trilogy. So I'm very excited to read the rest of these. And then the next book I purchased was Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I know it came out years ago and everyone else has read it. I haven't. So I got this one. I'm excited to read it. And yeah, I've never read Emily Henry, so I picked up The Book Lovers because it was just the cheapest one they had of her books. And I was like, I don't really care which one I read. So I picked up that one. And then I got Pucking Around by Emily Roth, which I'm really excited to read. I saw this in a bookstore like 2 or 3 years ago and was like, oh my god, I really want to read that. And then I just didn't want to buy it for like the hardcover price or like whatever price it was. I didn't want to spend that much money. So I just kind of like forgot about it. And then as I was trading in books, it was like sitting behind the counter and I was like, can I buy that? And she was like, yes, that makes my life easier. And I was like, good. So yeah, I have Pucking Around. Then, speaking of the 10 Straight series and Neon Yang, I got The Genesis of Misery. I'm obsessed with this cover. It's serving. So yeah, that's really cool. I got that. And the last 3 books, these are all the new ones. I got With Love from Cold World, which is apparently a romance set in Florida with people who live in like, or they work in like a fake winter place. I'm so locked in for it. And then I got Anaximander by Carla Rovelli, which is like Carla Rovelli is a theoretical physicist, and I have read his books before. I don't know what's going on, but I feel enlightened for reading them, so I like automatically buy anything I see of his. And this is like a theoretical physicist writing a biography about an ancient Greek philosopher who came up with like a lot of like understanding of how the world works. So I'm excited to read this. I don't know if I'll even talk about it on the channel, but I am excited. I'm like genuinely excited about it. And then the last one I got is by Lizzie Dent, and this is Just One Taste. And I didn't even read the back of the book on this one because chef romances are my favorite romances, so that's all I need. And those are all the books that I got. So I am set for books for a hot minute. I am still going to be continuing my my plan, my goal, my whatever, to read all the books that I currently own that are super, super old. Old, 4 to 5 years. All the books that are collecting dust in my room are going to be uncollecting dust. So I will be focusing on reading those, but I'm excited to finish out like refilling my shelves with new things and having some more variety, and just, it's going to be a good time. I'm excited. So yeah, that brings us into life stuff. I'm going to go ahead and reverse the camera again because I personally don't like looking at myself mirror image. I don't know how you guys feel about it. But let's go into life stuff. First of all, I threw a pie party last week for Pie Day. Oh my god, that was so much fun. I also made corned beef and cabbage for St. Patty's Day, which is like my parents' favorite thing to do, and it just felt so nostalgic and it tasted so good. I had my spring break, so I obviously like went and bought a bunch of books. I went, to some bakeries and had a good time. I got my first ever facial. That was an experience. I don't know if I enjoy getting facials. So I learned that. And yeah, so that was my week. Oh, I had my midterms. I got an A on my accounting midterm. My other midterm has not been graded yet, so I don't know what I got in my other class. But I am really excited about that. And that is all I have written down for my notes. So yeah, I guess I'm going to end it here. We are at only 29 minutes. I feel like I either forgot to say a whole lot of things or I've been talking really fast. One of the two. Or possibly both. Anyway, I will see you next time. I don't know if that will be next week or not. I kind of enjoyed having the Saturday off last week. It is kind of strange that like it is like my 1 year anniversary of YouTube, and like on the one hand like that's really exciting and I love that like there are people who are watching my channel, like that's awesome. On the other hand, I'm like I'm kind of tired. So I'm gonna see how I feel. I may try to depart from doing weekly videos and may just kind of like do them as I feel like doing them and go from there. We will find out. So yes, I will see you next time, whenever next time is. Okay, bye.